Slightly more somber news tonight, Emily. I do want to discuss the recent passing of a community member here, Steve Blythus. Unfortunately passed away last week unexpectedly, and my heart goes out to the family and all of the close friends of Steve, and he will be greatly missed here. How did he impact the community from your visibility?
Yeah, I mean, so tonight we did a memorial mile in his honor, because Steve was the mile record holder up until a couple of weeks ago when Wyatt Paul and crew broke that record. But beyond just a record holder, Steve was a fantastic stalwart of the Pacific Northwest cycling community. I mean, he was on the board of his team, Taco Time Racing. He really helped to invigorate the racing community, to support just racing in general, especially being there for Volunteer Park Criterium, which is one of our longest now in-city races, and really helping to promote that. Steve also was out here at the track on a regular basis, probably I think for over a decade, out here racing intermittently, and then a few years ago he was out here pretty regularly training to try to compete at Masters Nats, and so he was out here all the time. And then when he wasn't racing, and during a time where he was kind of taking a little bit of time off the bike, he still was contributing to the community by stepping in to learn how to be an official. And so he was, again, out here on a regular basis, just helping to enable our racing to happen. And he is someone that is absolutely irreplaceable. We will miss him greatly. And we, like Nolan said, we send our condolences to the family. But we also are looking forward to making this racing scene the best that it can be, because we know that that is what he would have wanted.
Boop, 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 boop. Come on. That's gonna make the cut.
Show me that engine. That's not gonna make the cut. Welcome to Rail Talk. I'm Emily Alexander. Who are you?
And people call me Nolan.
Tonight, we're talking about the racing. We had a sprint invitational. Top three things about our threes and our Beyond the Podium. And then also what's coming up next here at the Jerry Baker Memorial Velodrome.
Let's talk about the 1-2 racing first. The men's category tonight filled with some punchy folks. There were a few people who were absent, but it created, I think, more of a dynamic racing, a lot of attacking, a lot of covering, overall really hard fought. Who are the top folks tonight in the men's 1-2?
So, I mean, we actually had a really interesting mix of folks tonight. Like you said, we had a few really strong characters that were out of town, i.e. Merrick. And so that gave an opportunity for a lot of other people to really show up in style. And in our scratch race, we had a very thrilling finish where Mario Sandoval came in first with a huge attack to reel in a couple of escapees, and then followed by Chris Wilson and Quinn Kennedy.
Yeah, they were off the front for quite some time, and then just got caught there. But yeah, really fast racing. I think I set some of my best power numbers of the year so far in that race, actually. Nowhere near the front. So those folks definitely had the watts, made it happen. All right, Emily, let's talk about the elimination.
Yes.
What'd you see there?
Oh, the elimination was spicy. There was a lot of movement going on. Again, just with the absence with a few folks, the introduction of a couple of new upgrades made the race very interesting. We had a few early moves that seemed to try to separate themselves from the field, but eventually everything kind of came back together. Near the end of the racing, there was really a group of probably 5 that really kind of coalesced all together, but then just the attrition of that, the surge of every single lap really just kind of took people out of it. And at the end of that race, there was Andrew Martin, yourself, and then Maddie Hers, one of our other fast finishers, really just putting on a great show. And so, how was that? That was one of your best finishes this season. How'd that go?
It was. My insider take was it was really fun. Honestly, it was fun to be in the mix. Merrick's absence here, I think, definitely played a factor. Andy Baker also sitting out the rest of the night with a little bit of a tweaked back, and so with those folks absent and some other folks not here, I think it just allowed for some more creative racing, and I had a good time and found myself towards the front, but not on the front, but had a great time.
Yeah, no, it looked fun, and I know that you acknowledged Andrew as that final sprint happened, and so that was.
Woo!
Just
He had it. He definitely had it. I tried to out-tactic him, but didn't have that or the watts. So congrats to him. Let's talk about the final race of the evening for the Men 1-2. Was the $1 a lap scratch race. 30 laps. I thought it was 20. Oops. But it was a 30 lapper. Also pretty attritional. I don't know how many folks didn't finish that, but there was a smaller group than started.
Yes.
And once again, though, some of the folks from the first race, strong showings, Andrew Martin taking the win ahead of Mario, and a big shout out to Ludo, who was in a break up the road, but still finished in 3rd. So strong showing from those folks. So overall for the evening, Andrew Martin takes it. Followed by Mario Sandoval, who had also an incredible performance tonight, and Chris Wilson, who is just a stalwart on the podium for us here, but taking the bronze there. Great night. Emily, the men's racing was great. I think the open women's racing was probably more great. I caught half of it. And I should have been watching the other half, if I'm honest, because it was just lights out awesome. It was so fun to watch. I mean, the racing tonight was amazing, but the open women's field, super strong, had some new upcoming talent in the form of Rue Tomko. They are crushing it. Also, Claire is back at the track after some big gravel miles, that diesel motor being put to work, and then the legend herself, Annette, still crushing. Let's talk about the races, though. First race, Scratch. How'd it play out?
Oh, Scratch was a great race. There was a mid-race preem that was available that obviously we had some folks that decided to go for, where it was enough to make things spicy. But at the end of that race, Claire Law took a flyer about 4 laps to go, which is her strong suit. She's a very strong endurance rider. Annette Williams waiting until kind of her usual 200 meters to really set it off. And Rue Tomko, probably the most exciting finish that I saw tonight, honestly, where able to just follow a couple of wheels and coming out of turn 4, really just going head to head with Annette and taking it at the line. A super exciting moment. I think Rue's first win in the elite field.
Really?
Yes.
That's a little surprising given how dominant it was.
Yes, it was super exciting. So again, congratulations there. And that kind of was a theme for the night. We've talked about Rue many times on this show before, and we've talked about how Rue has really come into their own this season, becoming, consistently on the podium, consistently fighting in those top 3 spaces in almost every race that they're in. And, to see it really culminate tonight with the Scratch win and even later in the night, super exciting to see. We're really excited as we...
In the Elim.
Yes, the Elim, another very exciting race. I mean, the Elim is by definition a race of attrition, but at the end of it, we really saw, again, Claire Law putting in her endurance efforts to just keep the tempo just a little bit higher than what all of the other track racers in the field really wanted it to be. I joked that she really just turned up that tempo in the last 20 meters of every single lap, kept it going through about 100, and then just let herself recover and then come back to it. And so Claire Law really just riding the field away. Danny Scoville and Rue Tomko taking more of that kind of surgy approach to it. But to round out that podium for the Elim, it was Claire Law, Danny Scoville, and then followed by Rue Tomko.
So in the final race of the night for the open women's field, it was a $1 a lap scratch. So the winner was just any normal scratch race, but you could collect some money along the way. And I think although $1 doesn't get you a whole lot anymore, more in Canada, but around here, slightly less, it created a dynamic where people really wanted, it's more about the glory of I won some money. And I think that it caused a lot of early efforts that just ripped the field apart. And some of the usual suspects, probably need to find another name for that, probably use it 4 times tonight, but similar folks off the front again in Claire. Claire just absolutely dunking on, I would call it the final 99% of the race. But once again, Rue Tomko just coming around with how many meters was that effort, you figure?
Oh, I want to say
over a lap?
Yeah, I want to say it took her over a lap to really overcome the overall distance.
They made the bridge. I want to say they covered 125 meters or something of a gap. It was a pretty significant gap. They made the bridge and just said, I'm freight train, I'm going again, I'm coming through even further. And then looked like, so Claire then did hold on for second, Lucy Gilchrist in third, but a dominating performance there in the final lap or so by Rue Tomko again.
And so then for the overall night, how did that shape up the podium?
Overall night was as follows: Rue Tomko, Claire Law, and Annette. One of the other fields tonight, Emily, were the threes. Men's 3 field, consistently fast, consistently making the 1-2s nervous. What are the top 3 things you thought about noteworthy this evening?
Yeah, I mean, the threes tonight were very fun to watch. So I think the program really led to that. For me, it was the $1 a lap scratch race again, where it's only $1 a lap, but obviously it's enough to make people want to go for it. We did have a couple of, I'd say, bonus amounts on some laps where I think lap 1 got a +$5 or a +$7, and then halfway through there was another $25 I think available at some point. But the juniors from Epic Racing, which is down in Portland, scooping up the money there. I think really trying to pay their weight in gas, maybe.
It might get down to Chehalis with that amount, but somewhat.
I mean, that's half a tank. But yeah, so the riders from Epic picking up that. Also in the Cat 3s tonight, there was a great showing from the ACT team, the A-Cycling team.
That one's tough.
Yeah.
That one's tough. But
Yeah.
I think there's 4 or 5 of them out tonight in the threes, which is honestly lovely to see. They have a big road presence, and I think that they're discovering the track is pretty sweet too.
Yes.
And to see them coming out and doing very well is exciting.
Yeah, and from that, Ryan Havel from ACT had a huge move in that $1 a lap race to take that final win. And so again, just that reiteration of new faces, new teams coming out to the track. We love to see it. We love to see the new energy that they bring.
I'm going to bring up a third thing then. I don't know what was on your plate tonight, but I'm going to say Josh Sherfy. He's a name I heard Corey shout multiple times. He's got some power under those legs, and exciting racer to watch. Consistently podium. Definitely, he's on upgrade watch.
For sure.
On upgrade watch, I would say the next couple of weeks he's going to be up there in the 1-2s and probably animating there as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Emily, also part of tonight's exciting racing program was a invitational sprint tournament. I'm not sure who was in charge, but they did a great job. We had some real hitters hailing from as far as Argentina. Would you believe it? Also, a lot of folks from Canada, some folks from Portland, and some locals to boot. But invitation only, so only the best of the best here this Friday night. And it was an 8-person field. They started off the night with a 200-meter time trial to seed into the match sprint tournament. Some pretty close racing. I think folks at home, check out our Instagram. Amara's going to post, or has maybe already posted, some very close finishes down to tire widths, I believe. But the end of the night, it was our own local Andrew Carlberg, track record holder, who took the top step, followed by Mateo Morasis from Argentina, by way of Kentucky, I've heard. But also then Tyler Davies rounding out the podium in third, the bronze medalist tonight coming from somewhere up north in Canada. Not sure. Send us syrup, please. Emily, I have heard tell that some of the folks that are missing from the evening tonight are down at a more prestigious event. What's going on down in LA?
Elite Nationals going on, and we're excited because we have a number of folks that are down there that either regularly race here or that have raced here enough that we consider part of the JBMV family. We have already some notable accomplishments. What do those look like?
Well, I know from experience, because Merrick is part of our men's 1-2 field here. He's absent tonight, but he is absolutely crushing it down at Elite Nationals. Crushing it. He has taken the U23 International Omnium title. Mm-hmm. He has also taken the U23 individual pursuit title, taking second in the elite. Incredible performance from Merrick. Am I missing one from Merrick?
Not from Merrick. I do know for a fact, though, and we will have a separate post for this, because we do have a couple of dispatches from Elite Nats. Merrick was really targeting the 3K time, because that is going to be the junior time that he is really going for.
Are you telling me he just full throttle for 3K, then coasted that last K and still came out with second in the elites?
I mean, you've been riding the track for a really long time, Noah. You can't coast out here.
That's true. That's a really good point. It's a really good point. How could I forget?
Anyways.
I also know Wyatt Paul, a recent upgrade into the 1-2s. He won the elite title in the kilo.
Yes.
I don't know how unexpected that was, maybe on the national stage, but given the performances I've seen from him out here this year, I had podium on my short list for that result, but to see him on the top step, incredible performance.
We'll have to go back to the video, but I think Alex might have called it.
He's been really training for the kilo, and I think you will see him on the national kilo podium. And I think he's got a real good shot at the Stars and Stripes. I think he might be bringing home a jersey.
So then Wyatt Paul taking the kilo, and then McKenna McKee.
From the Coup, shout out Vancouver, Washington. It's the better Vancouver-ish.
Defending her sprint title.
Fantastic. Pacific Northwest native, extended JBMV family. Congrats to all three of them.
Yeah.
Emily, I know that all those folks from Elite Nats are going to come up here with some pretty stellar form for the GP, which is next weekend. When should they be showing up to do that?
Hopefully they get back by Friday and Saturday, because that is when we are going to be racing, and we're going to be having the fastest races of the weekend.
I'm gonna say year. I'm gonna say fastest racing of the year.
Yes.
We'll come out and watch or check out the live stream found at velodrome.org/live. You don't want to miss it. It's gonna be a hoot.
And then also just one more shout out. Junior Nats is coming. I know that we've been posting a number of videos about this. We are doing so much work to make this place ready for everybody that is coming to that event August 1st through the 4th. We're super excited to have everybody here, fastest juniors in the country. Yeah, I'm super excited for it.
I'm thrilled as well. I'll be one of the co-commentators for the weekend. Excited to be calling out some of our locals and even some of the out-of-towners. It's going to be really fast racing, so do tune in or show up. Your choice.
Carries us through.
I think we're all wrapped up here tonight. You know, I would for a second like to talk. What the heck?
All right. Well, I guess we got to go.
I guess we're all done.